Good morning, Tim from Alpha Wolf Trading coming at you with this morning's pre-market prep with stocks to watch for trading and investing. Um, Something I do for the pro members over at Alpha Wolf Trading each and every day. Going to take a look at some stocks that have caught my eye this morning for potential day trades, maybe swing trades, maybe long-term hold investments. All really depends on what style of trade or time frame you enjoy trading in. But a little something for everybody. So we're going to start out this morning with SGYP. Now, look, the markets are pulling back, um, and potentially we could be looking at going down over the next week here or so, going down and testing the near term lows that we put in. But actually, what I'm thinking is there are several sectors where we may be pulling back and could test the 200-day moving average as support. Not quite go down all the way and test the recent lows, but test the 200-day, find some support there and bounce in some of these sectors and indexes out there. But we'll see how it plays out. The tariff thing seems to be, creating some fears of inflation, so forth and so on. But, we have the recent economic data that we've been getting really hasn't been indicating inflation at all. So we'll just have to see how this all plays out. There is definitely some volatility still in the markets, but in every market there are still trading opportunities and investing opportunities. I believe that at times like this, that's when you find the good swing and investment opportunities is on these pullbacks. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at some stocks to watch for today. SGYP reported earnings last night. Full disclosure, I have a position. I've been building a position in SGYP actually one of my long-term hold positions, and the reason for that is the fact that they have a drug that has been approved for two indications, and they've had some missteps. There's no doubt about that. They definitely have had some management missteps. Got a new CEO there, and I think this company is on a better path than it was with the former CEO. And I think that at some point, this this stock is going to do very well. So, um, you know, actually looking to build onto the position if I get the opportunity. If it were to pull back to the $1.50 level or somewhere in that area, I would be adding to my position and hold it and actually build it out completely to the full size that I've been trying to obtain, and then I'll just sit on it and wait because I do think at some point this thing heads back to the $5 or $6 range. So that's where I'm at with SGYP, and we've got a potential double bottom happening here. But right now, it's got a lot of work to do. It could be finding its base. It's got to get back over these moving averages. It's got to get back over this trend line. There's a lot going on here, but I do like SGYP for a long-term hold, and it's definitely more of a high-risk lotto play because it is a biotech, right? But we don't have to worry about a drug not being approved. It's approved. So they have made some finance missteps that have hurt the company, but I think that is behind them now. We'll have to see moving forward. But higher risk play. TWTR, I got to tell you, Twitter, been holding up fantastic, even in a tough tape. Stochastics curling up. This is beautiful pattern here. Got a floating island. You do have this gap that could potentially fill, but I think pull back to $30 or so. This gets pretty compelling. Maybe for a starter, maybe you look at $30.50 right around 20-day here. See if you get a little starter going there. You fill that gap. You add to the position. This is more to me more of a swing or long-term hold consideration because of the fact that it is a larger float, 665 million shares in the float. But Twitter has not been acting like Twitter, right? It's been acting differently over these last few months. And I think this one is worth keeping an eye on for potential entry of a swing or long-term hold. You know, it's been rumored that they could be an acquisition target. Maybe that happens, but it is acting differently from the way it's been acting in the past. And you know, one of the members said, you know, if Twitter decided tomorrow to charge, you know, $5 a month to be to have, you know, TweetDeck, for example, they do it in a month, in a heartbeat, and so would I. I have to say, I would do the same thing. You know, these guys have the potential to turn on some revenue generation. They just haven't done so. I think something's going on there at Twitter. I like the look of it technically, and like I said, in a very weak tape, this has held up extremely well. So pull back to a support area could be a place to start building a position. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. This morning, you know, gold is gapping, and as you know, global economies or global markets sold off last night. So gold is gapping up a little bit. One of the gold plays that I happen to like here and have been watching pretty closely is this HMY. Now this is up a little bit in pre-market. I would look for it to pull back, maybe test the $2.15 area and see if that holds as support. That has acted as resistance in the past. Now maybe we look for this area to act as support. So acted as support here, acted as support there, acted as support back here, and then we act as resistance, act as resistance. It's been got a nice little pattern here. Now, it was ABX got downgraded this morning, but this is Barrick Gold. It's actually bouncing a little bit off that downgrade. I mean, really stepping out on a ledge there by downgrading it here. Just pierced the lower Bollinger Band. And if you back it out to the weekly time frame, it's actually getting close to it. You know, it's right at an area actually of potential price support. Maybe it pulls back to $10. That's a nice round number that we could find some support at for ABX. But HMY, I think, is a much better look and worth keeping an eye on. Now, I could move in sympathy with this downgrade of ABX, or we get some follow through on this break that it's got in pre-market. So thicker stock. This has, I think, 375 million shares in the float. So it is a thicker stock. Could be a swing on a pullback to, you know, where it would get interesting to me as a swing or maybe even a long-term hold consideration would be a pullback to about $1.89, $1.90. Pull back to these moving averages. The other thing I like about this chart, got a golden cross happening. Got the 50-day, which just crossed the 200-day. So there's a lot that I like about this chart. And if we're going to see some continued weakness, we're going to see weakness in the dollar. Maybe we see some strength in gold. Maybe we see some strength in these miners. Worth keeping an eye on HMY. XENE reported yesterday. Or not, didn't report yesterday. They have earnings coming up. I'm sorry, next Wednesday. Had a nice little pop though off of this little flag pattern here, right into price resistance. Looking potentially at a red to green move here, just a day trading opportunity. 14.3 million shares in the float. Not a big short interest, but looking for some kind of move there in XENE, looking for a red to green. SRNE. So this had a pretty big pull yesterday. I think these guys just did an offering not too long ago, but I haven't been able to look that up yet. But, you know, this thing had a big pop and pull yesterday, pretty good drop. Got down to about $7.50. And then insider buy of 90,000 shares at $9.95 on March 1st, right? So that's a pretty significant buy, 90,000 shares at $9.95. Maybe looking for some kind of a bounce. You know, ideally, a pullback to the 50-day could be an interesting spot for the bounce, but I don't know if you're going to get that. It actually is already moving on, let me take a look here. SRNE. In pre-market, got up to about $8.27, and it looks like we're currently at about $8. So, you know, that is a little area of resistance, price resistance, but we'll see what happens if we can break back over $8 with some conviction. Could be a day trade opportunity there. Keep an eye on the volume, but I think it's definitely worth watching. Tusk, I'm going to bring this one up. This is one that I've been all over for the pro members for a while. I am in the stock. I did add to this stock on yesterday, and if this were to pull back into the $20 area, I'd add again. This is a long-term hold consideration. There is some accumulation going on here. There is nobody out that is watching this stock right now. 8 million shares in the float. They just reported earnings. They crushed it. They expect their first quarter earnings to be better than the last quarter earnings. I think this is one you definitely want to keep an eye on for a potential long-term hold. But you want to get it on a pullback. It has had a pretty nice run. But it's a small floater. It's a small floater. And if it gets some real volume, you could see this thing really take off. I think you put it on your radar. Look for a pullback to support and consider it for a swing or long-term hold consideration. OPK, look, Dr. Frost buys a lot of stock, a lot of this company's stock. It is gapping down. It got down to about $2.50, which if you back it out to the monthly time frame, that is an area of potential support right there around 250. And it bounced. It did bounce a little bit, but not a whole lot. This is a thicker stock, 334 million shares in the float. It was down quite a bit, already piercing the lower Bollinger Band. Now you're going to be completely out of the lower Bollinger Band. Could be a snapback play here. The earnings, though, were terrible. I mean, it was a terrible report. It did not look like a good report at all. This could be a flush. We'll see. Maybe a quick snapback scalp trade in this. Look for some volume, but don't chase it. Look for some kind of a good setup there intraday. GSV, you know what? I think I'm going to wrap it right there so I can get this out right away. Actually, I'll do one more. TNDM, Tandem, reported last night. And it looked like it was, they're still losing money, but they did beat, it appears. This thing is sitting there right around $3.39. It actually pulled down to about $3.16. I'm just looking at maybe a pullback to $3. Maybe it finds support there for a bounce day trading opportunity. 4 million shares in the float, pretty small float. Just a day trade opportunity there. Let's take a look real quick at the markets and see what's happening here. So we are gapping down this morning. S&P, NASDAQ, Dow. Dollar showing some weakness here. Gold is gapping up, and oil is down just slightly. So look, I think that it's Friday heading into the weekend. What the markets have been doing, we get one thing that happens in the morning, and then we kind of have a reversal midday, and then we're just in a choppy market right now. So you don't want to chase anything in any direction. I don't think you want to chase this gap up in gold. Anything could happen. I think the markets are trying to send a message to Trump that they do not like what he is doing with this tariff, and nothing's set in stone. It could change in a heartbeat. So keep that in mind. But it'll be interesting to see how we close out the day here in the markets. Hold on one second. I'm going to just bring up one last one because this news just hit. ZSAN, which had a big pop. Okay, they just got a patent. These guys just did a reverse split. Super small float. 1.7 million shares in the float. I think they did an offering not too long ago. There has been some pretty good insider buying before they did the reverse split. spiking up 8% to a high of 850. So this is gapping up this morning. Definitely do not chase this thing, but could be in play. Worth keeping an eye on it for a day trader scalp opportunity. Actually, it's gotten up to about $9.40 in pre-market. Maybe look for a pullback to the $8 range and see if maybe I'm looking at $8.70, $8. See if it holds a support in that area, but could be a day trader scalp opportunity there on ZSAM. All right, be careful. Don't chase. Have a plan for each and every trade, and good luck trading today. I'll be back this weekend with stocks to watch for next week. Have a great one.